Hey everybody, thanks for joining me in my studios at Hyundai Sonata. It's called a Hyundai, by the way. It's not Hyundai, it's Hyundai. I heard that the other day on those girls' show I was talking about the other day, Kat and Nat. They're Canadian, and in Canada, I think they say Hyundai. And here in the States, we say Hyundai. But the pronunciation is Hyundai. It rhymes with Sunday. So I'm calling this my Hyundai studio. Hyundai Sonata Studios. That's where I film and produce my show. So welcome to the Hyundai studio. And I am Karen Gardinier. And thank you for following me. And I want to answer a question from one of our community. But before I do that, I just want to say, if you would please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, follow my blog, please. Any kind of support you can give me would be great. And it's pretty easy to just like or share something that you hear that you like. And I'm hoping that every day somebody gets something out of these videos, these vlogs that help them in their recovery. And so today, one of our community, it's become quite a big community too. So I'm going to start mentioning people's names so everyone can get to know each other. But there's a gentleman named Tom, and Tom has been very supportive. And Tom responded to one of the memes that I posted about acceptance. And I posted a meme about the Dr. Paul's quote on acceptance, that acceptance is the key to all my problems today. I love that quote. And I love the whole story, Dr. Bob's story. It used to be called Physician Heal Thyself in the 3rd edition, but now in the 4th edition, I think it's called, maybe it used to be called Dr. Alcoholic Addict, and now it's Physician Heal Thyself. I'm not sure. And I'm not even sure what page it is because it used to be on 417. I got my big book right here. Hang on. I'll tell you what it is. It is okay. Oh my God, it opened right to it. Big moment. It opened right to it. So in the big book, it's page 407 in the 4th edition. And acceptance was the answer is the whole story in the back of the book. I don't read a lot of the stories because I believe all the answers for me are in the first 164 pages, but the stories are great in the back. Some people can't get to a meeting, and those stories in the back are really like mini meetings. And this one with Dr. Paul and his wife Max is really a fantastic read. And if you're married, you should read this. If you're a pill addict, you should read this. If you're an alcoholic, you should read this. If you're human on the planet, you should read this, because what he says about acceptance is really, God, it's just amazing. And I know you've all heard it, but it wouldn't hurt to hear it again. Okay. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. And all is in squiggly lines. And anytime something in the big book is in squiggly lines, it means it's very important. Okay? And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. Now that is a powerful paragraph, and I don't care if you are alcoholic or not. That is like a wow, especially for Al-Anons too. I mean, acceptance is the key. So Tom sent me a private message and said, how does this correspond to social media? Because in the book somewhere it says that that we are not supposed to be so worried about what's going on in the world. We're supposed to be worried about more what's going on with us, right? We can't put the world's problems on our shoulders, and I understand that completely. I remember when I first got sober, and I live in California, and the crime rate is horrible, right? And it was a horrible story on the news one morning. I mean, I was just newly sober, and I heard that this homeless couple that was living in Cathedral City had been murdered, and they were legit, like regular couple that just, missed a paycheck kind of thing and were on the streets. And the community knew them there. And so they were helping them, and they were always welcome there. They were not active drug addicts, alcoholics. They weren't stealing or, doing anything crazy like that. So they were just nice people, and they happened to be down on their luck, and they were living by this dumpster. A whole nother conversation. Whatever, let's not talk about that. But someone killed them right in their little dumpster area. I was devastated. I went down with a thud. Being alcoholic, I am so sensitive. And the things, I've shared this before, the things that are really, really catastrophic, can put me away for weeks. And sometimes just the little things. So I don't know. I'm just bodily and mentally different than my fellows. But this really affected me, and I was so upset. And I started reading articles, and I was listening to the news, and I found out their names was Roger and Diane. And I was tracking this like I knew these people. And I was devastated. I drove by the dumpster where they were murdered. I could not shake this grief, right? My alcoholism just nabbed it, and I was going down. And someone in my clubroom said, Karen, turn off the news. You can't do that. You cannot take the world's issues and carry them on your shoulders. You will go down. You need to care about you and your world and what you're doing. Like, just back up. And I learned that. I had to back up. And even now, I'm very careful about movies I watch. I don't like the news. I mean, I hate to be like I'm sticking my head in the sand, but there's so much powerlessness over that. There's not much I can do except try to change things in my world and out. And so he was asking me, how much acceptance is there in that I'm trying to help educate people on social media about the stigma and about the disease and the illness, right? And I'm trying to use social media. Does that mean I'm really not accepting this? Am I putting my nose in other people's business? No, I don't think so. It also talks in the big book about how we're supposed to be helpful. Our sobriety depends on it. So if you're being helpful and you're using social media to try to reach people and change the idea of the stigma, right? To educate people about this mental illness, that is not willpower. It's crazy to me how many people think this is still like a choice. Like, you were raised wrong, you should act better, you have some kind of choice about this disease. No. It's mental illness. So I think educating is helpful. I think spreading the good news that there's an answer is helpful. I think it's helpful that we're telling people how to get help, where to get help, right? It's not like it's out there, like everybody knows. It seems like everybody knows because I'm in AA, but no, people don't know. And people don't know what to do. And it is a stigma still. And we need to talk about it. And that's helpful. However, if I'm taking things on that are tearing me apart, that's not helpful. I can't be helpful to anyone else. I have to accept what's going on. I have to accept that not everybody gets sober. Not everybody wants to get sober. Not everybody wants people to know they're alcoholic. It's everybody's individual right for their anonymity, their privacy, and I have to accept that. And I am fine with that. I really am. But there are a lot of people that want to know, right? Like, how did you get sober, and how are you staying sober? And how did you get sober after long-term sobriety and you relapsed? It's impossible. How are you staying sober when you're a mother with so much guilt, remorse, and shame? I mean, how do people stay sober through that? That's what I needed to know. that's what I want to tell you. So I love that question that Tom asked me. I'm so grateful he asked it. I wish more of you would ask questions, because I know everybody's got the same question, and it gives me an opportunity to really speak to people. People are watching right now, and nobody knows they're an alcoholic, right? It's a big secret. Or they think they're an alcoholic. Well, I gotta tell you something. If you think you're an alcoholic, you probably have a problem with alcohol, because normal people don't think about their alcohol consumption at all. They could take it or leave it. So if you're considering the fact that maybe you've got a problem, you probably do. Maybe you're just unhappy, right? And you don't want to drink anymore. You don't have to be an alcoholic to quit drinking. And you definitely don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Not anyone at all. Thanks for listening. And thanks, Tom, for your question. Keep them coming. Bye.